I'm Tim Barkley with Charleston Home and Design Magazine, and we are on location at Smith Killian Art Gallery, and we're talking with Betty Anglin Smith and Lee Limehouse. How are you folks doing?
We're fine. Thank you for being here. Welcome to our gallery.
Absolutely. How are you doing, Lee?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I hope you are.
Great, great. Well, why don't we just start off by having you tell us a little bit about Smith Killian Art Gallery?
Smith Killian we're in our 10th year this year, and it was begun 10 years ago with Hume Killian, who's my business partner, and myself. I had been showing in the Wells Gallery for some years, and the girls had just finished college. This was in '94, and they were starting to show their work, and we pretty much had taken over the Wells Gallery, the three of us, and it was like, it is time for us to have our own space and really showcase the family's work. And so Hume and I found this location here at 9 Queen Street, and we have loved this corner. It's been a beautiful spot, and have a couple of galleries now across the street from us, which makes it even more dynamic. And it primarily shows the family, which is Jennifer Smith Rogers and Shannon Smith and my son Trip Smith. And both girls, by the way, these children are triplets. They grew up and all turned into artists, which is something that Mother never expected or never planned. And it's one of those serendipitous things that happened, and I couldn't be happier. And the girls are painters, and son is a photographer. And Lee is our director here at the gallery, and she has been with us now for... So you might say what it's like representing a family of artists.
Very interesting. It's very family oriented in here. They treat me like I am part of the family. Shannon often jokes and calls me the quadruplet. Hume is like a brother to me as well, and you know, these are, this is one of Jennifer's paintings here. This is one of her newest pieces, and this is one of Shannon's, and this is one of Tripp's. And I think people, you know, when they come in, they find it, you know, it's extremely interesting that it's a whole family. And, you know, that's what kind of sets us apart and makes it more interesting. It's very laid back in here. It's very family oriented all around. Oftentimes you'll find Jennifer's children in here, drawing on the floor and coloring and that kind of thing. So it's a very homey feel, and I love being here. Actually, Ellie used to call this Lee's house. I'm here a lot.
And we're standing in the spot where your daughter Shannon Jennifer usually paints, right?
Jennifer, we had her set up in here for Spoleto, I guess 2.5 years ago. And just to kind of drum up interest, people would much rather talk to the artist than myself. And she loved it. She paints right by this window, and the light is amazing. She sets her easel up right here, and I actually enjoy it. My desk is right here, and I get to watch her. I get to watch every painting from start to finish, which is something that not many people can do. So.
You ever overhear any frustrations?
No, actually, the girls are very, they're very prolific, and they start a painting from start to finish. A lot of artists sometimes will stop working on something and do something else, and sort of maybe work on 10 paintings even at a time. But the girls they're very focused, and they start a painting and they finish a painting, and there's no bad words or anything said, and they enjoy it.
That's great. Do artists get like the writer's version of writer's block ever?
That happens. Usually you paint your way out of it. I think painting every day, you just keep the momentum going. The hardest, I think, when the block comes is, say, like after the Christmas holidays, when you've been out of the studio for maybe a couple of weeks and you walk back in there and, you know, you've lost that momentum. So the creative spirit sort of feeds on itself, and I think all of us, we are in the studio every day and love being there. We all have a passion for painting.
Great. And as we do this interview, we're going to kind of walk around to different sections of the art gallery. But just in general, can you describe the art that's on display here at Smith Killian Art Gallery?
Well, you know, Shannon just had a figurative show, so a lot of these pieces in here are figurative pieces. They each have a show a year, usually a solo show a year. Every once in a while we'll do a family show. So Shannon's was a figurative exhibit, which was real different for her, her first figurative.
What does that mean, figurative?
Just people, the figure, and focusing mainly on that. And a lot of them are interiors of local restaurants. This is actually from a recent trip to Italy. She just did a workshop there. And Jennifer primarily paints architecture. She was an architect major for her first year at Clemson. So I think she that's her first love, and she kind of sticks with that. She also does some landscapes, whereas Shannon actually does a lot of landscapes and still life and figurative. And then Tripp's subject is more Betty's, the natural landscape, mostly low country. Betty often paints other places as well, but so that's yeah.
How do you guide a customer when interested in purchasing art here at Smith Killian Art Gallery?
I think it's important for the customer just to be in love with what they're looking at, and something that they want to live with for the rest of their lives. And I think it sometimes makes the client a little more comfortable to try something on approval. I'll often bring stuff to people's homes and hang it, let them live with it for a night or two and see it in different light in their home, and I think that's a little more comforting for our clients.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how a customer of yours might know that a piece of art will look good in their home, and Smith Killian will lend out some of the art pieces.
I think that's important for them to kind of see it in their own home. Other people just know what they love and see it and want it. I also think that the Smiths have a lot of followers. We have a lot of collectors that have several pieces of theirs. And so they know what they like, and they're from out of town and from in town, but they often buy stuff from our website. They know the quality of the work, and I send out emails with images of paintings, and they often will just pick them up from that as well.
Great. Well, let's kind of move around to another part of the gallery here. Okay, now we're in another room here at Smith Killian Art Gallery. Can you kind of describe where we are?
This is actually a room where we usually have openings. We have receptions, an exhibit. This is, I guess we could call it our exhibition room. Right now we're not having an exhibit, so these are all fairly new pieces of all of the Smith family.
What are we looking at here?
This is one of Betty's back here, and two small Betty's. This is fairly new.
This was just brought in. This is a painting. Most of my work is painted from the Ace Basin area, and you want me to? From the Ace Basin. My studio is down in Maggot, which is on the marshes of the Intercoastal Waterway and the Wadmalaw River. And so 90% of my landscapes are from the studio, from the area around my studio. This painting happens to be from that stretch of Highway 17 going down towards Beaufort, where it opens up and you see this vast savanna of marshland. I've done numerous paintings from down there. But my oil paintings do focus on landscape. I was a watercolorist for 20 years and painted architecture, figures, animals, a number of different subject matter, but since I've been in oils, it's focused on the landscape. The painting behind me is of Shannon's, and it's the tango dancers, and this is a painting done from one of her travels to Argentina. And Shannon, being a free-spirited single lady, is out there traveling more than any of us, and just got back from Italy and did a number of nice paintings over there in a workshop that she taught with Laurie Meyer, and since then has come back and done some really fine studio pieces. The one in the corner, which I hope you can see in a minute, is also from Italy, from her favorite restaurant there. So This room showcases our work well. It's large enough that you can get back and get a long perspective on the paintings, and we enjoy hanging in this room.
This is probably a dumb question, but how do you determine the size of what a painting will ultimately be? Do you ever start one that might you realize is too small for the canvas, or do you have that in mind going in?
I think that Betty, she either likes to paint large or this small. There's not a whole lot of in between. I think her paintings lend themselves to larger canvases. I don't know. I guess
I think it comes from the experience of painting. Like the girls will take a subject matter and they know right away that they want to make it a certain size, and that just comes from years of painting. Yeah, it's not a hard decision to make.
Gotcha. Okay. Lee, do you ever have customers who visit Smith Killian Art Gallery that own second homes here in Charleston and are looking to hang some art in the walls?
a lot of our clients are out-of-towners that have second homes here. They often fill their homes with Smith paintings. We have a few clients who have 40 paintings of theirs. 30 or 20, or and they're Smith collectors, and they have them in their
the whole family.
Yeah, they do. They do, and they're oftentimes for their homes here, but we also ship stuff to their first residence, and we ship everywhere really. We've shipped paintings to London and Germany, and we do have Canada. We do have the occasional person who just kind of comes in, never been to Charleston before, and buys something small, to take home with them to remind them of their trip, or large. You never know.
So you have had customers who have furnished their entire home with paintings from Smith Killian Art Gallery?
Yeah, we have. We have a client at Kiowa who is a admirer of Betty. She has probably maybe between 35 and 40 paintings of Betty's, large canvases, stacked on top of one another to the ceiling, really. We also have a client in Mount Pleasant who is a big fan of Shannon, but also has a lot of Jennifer and Betty's as well, and her home is full of paintings. It's like walking into Smith Killian Part 2.
How does an artist determine the price tag on a painting?
I think primarily they do it by size. Technically, you could say by the square inch, but we're not really. There's not really a formality there. I think just in general by the canvas size.
And it's also what history has dictated.
Yeah.
It's what we have found a price point for this painting to be, and pricing is the hardest thing. We do generally price by size, even though we might look at this painting and think it is, every now and then you turn out one, that's your masterpiece, but you keep your pricing the same regardless.
A lot of artists do it differently.
Yeah, it is. It's a personal thing.
I think it's important to have continuity, just for our clients' sake. It's fair to them, I think, too.
When you sell one of these masterpieces, is there, are you just overjoyed, or is there a bit of sadness that it's leaving you?
I actually get kind of sad. I get attached to some of these. Some of them are very hard to let go. I like it when they go to good homes. But yeah, it is. It is kind of hard.
The thing is that certain paintings you want someone to appreciate it as much as you do. And when I hear that so-and-so came in and bought this, I know that person, and I'm thrilled that it's going to their home. Mm-hmm. But recently we sold one of my abstract paintings, and I don't know when I've been so joyed to sell a painting, because this is sort of a new direction for me, and I'm still feeling the waters, and it's almost like starting over, because people know my work as landscape, and yet there's a part of me that wants to go in this other direction. So it is like starting over, and I'm probably getting a whole new group of people following my work now as a result.
Well, speaking of the abstract paintings, let's visit that room here at Smith Killian Art Gallery. Okay, tell us about the room we're in now.
I'm gonna let Betty do that. These are Betty's abstract paintings. It's her newest project. She's been doing them for about a year now.
We have pulled this center room of the gallery and decided that we are going to devote it temporarily to see how this works, but devote it to the abstract work and to Tripp's photography. The work hangs so well together, and it's really sort of separate from the rest of the work in the gallery, and we want to showcase that. For me, to move from the landscape to the abstracts was sort of a natural progression. If you look at my landscapes, the strokes are very expressive, very loose, very energetic, and it was very easy to just totally give up the subject matter and just enjoy the painting for painting's sake, and let paint, color, expression, movement, energy all take over. And so you get different emotions from these paintings. To me, in each of them, for example, this one, which is titled Currents, I always feel the movement of water in these. And it might be because my studio is on the water and I'm constantly looking at the water. But I don't have any preconceived idea when I paint these. I'm just enjoying it for the sake of painting. But when I step back and look at them, I do feel the movement of water through them. So they all have terms titled. Titles are title terms. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like tidal resonance, tidal surge, currents. These are the titles of these paintings.
TIDAL you're referring to.
Yes, which sounds like titles. But that's what I'm referring to. And then the photography is Tripp's photography, and he does share my love of the landscape and the natural landscape, and that's what his focus is. And we also have sculpture. We haven't mentioned this.
I know.
But these are bronzes by Daryl Davis, and I'll let you.
Yeah, Daryl's from Texas. These are all bronze pieces, limited editions. He does mostly animals. He has done a few figurative pieces, but we just have his animals in here. And Daryl has a lot of monuments and pieces, large-scale pieces at zoos, Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago, and veterans memorials in Texas and that sort of thing. And he's got a great heron piece that is in Somerville in the middle of their pond in Azalea Park, which is really beautiful as well. So yeah, we've had Daryl for a long time, actually.
Yeah,
He's been
since we started the gallery. When we opened the gallery, I really wanted to find a sculptor who really sculpted the animals that are indigenous to this area. And we've just had a huge response to his work. And I met him at Southeastern Wildlife Exposition and invited him to show with us, and it's been a really good relationship.
Terrific. It was beautiful in here. I love the abstract work, and it's interesting that you're going off in a new direction too. Do you, for folks out there who are maybe just starting to buy some original artwork or starting a collection, how do you recommend a customer? How do they know that the painting they purchase is a good value?
The Smiths and Daryl actually have all increased in value. I don't love to think of buying art as an investment, but it is. I want someone to buy a piece of art because they love it and they want to have it for the rest of their lives. These pieces are all very special to me, and I want, people to understand the value of the piece. Not for resale, but just for them to have and pass down in their family and that kind of thing. But it does increase in value. All of their prices go up. Not every year, and we haven't really had any increases in a while for obvious reasons. But it does increase in value, and it is important to some.
I think it's important to trust the gallery and know that gallery is showing reputable artists and artists who have a nice resume that you can look at and know that they have been painting for years and that they're serious and professional and are putting their best work out there.
Right. How often does the artwork change here at the gallery?
They're constantly bringing in new work, and I'm always rehanging. That's one of my favorite things to do, actually. So we're always kind of moving things around and getting in new pieces and shipping out old pieces. And we have had in the past visiting shows. We just recently had a contemporary Carolina show, which we had 6 artists from the Carolinas, and we invited them to show with us. Eva Carter is a very well-known artist in town. She was part of it. Leo Twiggs, Carl Blair, and Matt Overend. Laura Spong, yeah. And so I think we might do that once a year, maybe have an invitational show. It might not be contemporary, it might be something else, or
just to keep it interesting.
Yeah.
We want people to come in and always feel like it's fresh and new. And paintings do rotate out, because the girls and I are in other galleries around the country. And, like I'm getting ready to ship several pieces up to Martha's Vineyard, to a gallery that shows my work there. So things are coming and going. And like today I came in and brought 2 new pieces. So it's always good to check with us and see what's new, and check on the website, because Lee is great about keeping everything on the website. All the inventory in the gallery is on the website.
So there are other galleries around the country that have your artwork on display then?
Yeah, they show in Atlanta, and Betty shows in St. Simons, and Martha's Vineyard, Naples, Florida. But Betty, used to show in D.C. and Carmel and New York and San Francisco.
But, I've got a 40-year painting career, and it changes. And you'll go with a gallery and stay about 10 years, and then it might be time to move on. The internet made a big difference in gallery representation, because galleries now, a lot of galleries want exclusives, because they know that if they're showing this artist, and that artist is showing somewhere else, people can go online and see work all over the country. And so they don't want to put an effort in you and then have from another gallery. Yeah. So that's made a big difference. So a lot of galleries now, that's one reason I'm not in a couple of these galleries, because they wanted an exclusive, and I can't do that. And with Charleston being my primary gallery,
Gotcha. How much of Smith Killian inventory is found on smithkillian.com website?
All of it. Everything in this gallery is on the website. When they bring in a new piece, I usually shoot out a quick email image to their clients. I have a client list for each of them, and so I usually just shoot out a quick image, and oftentimes I sell from that too.
Great. Well, let's visit another part of the gallery, and we'll wrap up our interview. Okay, we're about to wrap up here, and now we're joined by Jennifer Smith Rogers, your daughter Betty, and you're working on something here, right, Jennifer?
I am. I'm just getting something started, or else I might show it to you. But it's just sort of start out with like a burnt sienna colored toned background, so it just kind of looks like an orange painting right now. And I'm sketching out the beginning here, doing a water lily scene from Cypress Gardens. I just went to New York last week and went to the Met, and I'm a little inspired to try some water lily paintings after seeing the Monets. So
terrific. And you do a lot of painting right here in the gallery?
I do. I've started painting in here a couple years ago and just enjoyed sort of being away from the home and all that needs to be done there. 2 little girls, so when they're in school or summer camp or whatever, I scoot down here and get in a few hours of painting, get as much done as I can. And I love painting in this great big window, and it's just sort of fun to interact with the people coming in as well. So
yeah, I bet the customers love to see the artists actually painting on site.
They do. They like to peek at what I'm doing and ask questions, so it works out well for everybody, I think.
And that doesn't bother you?
No, not too badly. It really doesn't. I don't mind. So I don't never have anybody that really kind of camps out, and which I sort of worried about at some point. But yeah.
Well, terrific. I know Smith Killian Art Gallery has several events throughout the year, and you've got a couple of them that are taking place this fall. Can you tell us about those?
In October, we're going to feature my work at the First Friday Art Walk, first Friday of the month. And the theme is October skies, and October is when we have the most fantastic sunsets because of the low humidity, and it reminds you of the Southwest. It's just so clear and vibrant. So the whole theme of the exhibit will be the October skies from my studio out at Megget. So it'll be the marshes with big, big sky paintings. And then in November, we are going to have an exhibit of Jennifer's work for the Kafata weekend, which is the first Friday in November. And Jennifer, you just want to speak briefly about that?
Sure. This show will be more intimate views of architectural landscapes. I typically do more panoramic vistas, like rooftop scenes and big dramatic skies.
Kind of like the painting right behind you that you just sold.
Yes, sure did. So I'm going to sort of change my view a little bit and try to just sort of zoom in a little on similar subject matter that I do, but just in a different perspective, I think. So.
Showing some of the smaller design details?
Possibly doorways, maybe, and just more close-ups of the architecture, and then maybe even, waters and inlets and marsh views, but just, more close-up. So it's the plan.
Terrific. Look forward to seeing that. All right, and both of those particular exhibits taking place the first Fridays, starting out the first Fridays in October and November.
One in December as well, an art walk, a French Quarter art walk. But CAFATA is Charleston Fine Art Dealers Association. I just thought I should mention that as well.
Yeah.
We have a fine art annual every year. This is our 11th or 12th, I can't remember. But we just have a big, it's almost like a small little art festival, and all the galleries will have big openings. Jennifer's will be ours, and they also do like painting in the park in Washington Square Park, where they all paint, and then the paintings are auctioned off
It's a fundraiser
that
for the
evening. Yeah.
public schools. We give it's to help the schools' arts programs.
We do well with it. We've raised a lot of money. We give each school a gift certificate to Artists and Craftsmen Supply Store, and a few years it's been $3,300, which is amazing since they're only really allotted like $200 for the year. So it makes a big difference, and we're proud to do it, really.
Terrific. Well, I want to thank you both so much for inviting us into your beautiful art gallery. And why don't we conclude this by having you give our readers, viewers, and listeners all of your contact information here.
The best way to visit us is just at smithkillian.com. You can come by the gallery at 9 Queen Street anytime. I'm usually in here. And if you have any questions about anything, you're welcome to call us or just stop by.
Okay, great. Well, we have been talking with Betty Anglin Smith, Lee Limehouse, and Jennifer Smith Rogers here at the Smith Killian Art Gallery. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great.